Today, on this episode, I'm going to show you guys what absolute value is. And I'm going to do that with the help of these two volunteers.
Actually, we were voluntold. Yeah, you're making us do this.
Okay, there is no need to get salty about it. Do you want to eat dinner?
Nah.
Okay, well, we only had to feed one tonight. All right, on this episode, I'm going to show you how to do absolute value using real life situations, and we're going to use some tools. We're going to use a tape measure and a brick, and we're going to use 2 bars. We're also going to use a fence I erected specifically for this episode over here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have both my girls, they're going to walk a certain distance, but they're both going to be starting from the same point along this fence line. Okay, so each of the girls walked the exact same amount of posts. One walked to the left 3 posts, the other walked to the right 3 posts. They both walked a distance of 3 posts. I'm going to have one of my volunteers throw a brick to the left.
I threw my brick 21 feet to the left.
Now my other daughter is going to throw the brick to the right.
I threw the brick 19 feet to the right.
Okay, so what happened with this situation and the bricks? One girl threw the brick 21 feet in one direction. The other girl threw the brick 19 feet in the opposite direction. Yet, both of their distances were positive. When dealing with absolute value, it's really a good idea to stay optimistic. You always want to think positive. I'm standing along the fence. I'm going to look to my left, and then I'm going to look to my right. There's one girl 8 posts or 8 units down to my left. There's another girl 8 posts or 8 units to my right. Both girls were the same distance from me, 8 units. And they are both positive units. Absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line and is always expressed as a positive unit. There's 2 different ways that someone might ask you to find the absolute value. The first way is very simply by the use of a word phrase. They may just ask, can you find the absolute value of this number? There's another way, and I'm going to have one of my volunteers show you an example. The other way is using 2 bars or 2 vertical line segments, one on each side of the number. Kind of like this. So let's say you start at 0 on this number line and you go 4 units to the right. Then you've gone an absolute value of 4 units. The absolute value of 4 is 4 because you just simply went 4 units. So let's say you started at 0 on a number line and you went to -4. Well, you've also gone an absolute value of 4 units. You went 4 units to the left on a number line. The absolute value of -4 is 4. Just like the absolute value of 4 is also 4, because you went 4 units in either direction. This absolute value question is in a word phrase. What is the absolute value of -15? Another way to read this is how many units from 0 is -15? It is 15 units from 0. The answer is 15. What is the absolute value of 12? It can also be read, how many units is 12 from 0? The answer is 12. It is 12 units from 0. This is an example of an absolute value question without words. It is using those two vertical line segments or bars that I mentioned earlier. Those bars are asking the question, what is the absolute value of -9? The answer is 9. It is 9 units from 0. This is also asking a question. It is asking, what is the absolute value of +9? The answer is +9. Here are 4 practice problems. Pause the video and then check your solutions. Previously, I mentioned that absolute value will always result in a positive solution. But here's a situation in which you need to be careful when solving for absolute value. This situation can be read as, what is the negative of the absolute value of 14? If you recall from my video on the order of operations, absolute value is also a grouping symbol. So you must do what's inside the grouping symbol first, and in this case is to find the absolute value of 14. The absolute value of 14 is 14. And then we bring down the negative on the outside with our solution. The negative of the absolute value of 14 is equal to -14. Again, we have another situation where we have a negative sign on the outside of the absolute value symbol. This situation can be read as, what is the negative of the absolute value of -14? Again, we must do absolute value first. The absolute value of -14 is +14. Then we take the negative of that solution, or bring the negative sign down with the solution. So the negative of the absolute value of -14 is equal to -14. Before I retire, it's going to be another 7 or 8 years before I retire. Before I leave or retire this episode, one more thing. The most common mistake that I see students make when trying to determine the absolute value of a number is they confuse it with finding the opposite of a number. Absolute value is not trying to determine or find the opposite of a value. It is very simply how far is a number or a unit from 0 on a number line. That's it. How far is it? No matter what the direction is, whether it's a positive direction or a negative direction, just tell how far it is from 0.